Before the fallout, Scott Capper was considered a formidable enforcer to Mr. Flashy and Dublin's notorious Gucci gang, acting as Mr. Flashy's right-hand man. Now he was said to be third in command of a group of 20. He was strong, tall and built like a unit. Scott Capper was unhinged, erratic and unpredictable, and that made him a very, very real problem. At the time of his arrest, it was said that Scott had been taking up to €500 worth of Class A gear, white, on a daily basis, and that only added to his destruction and his bad temperament. So it was no surprise that Scott had turned into the Hulk and took part in 2 scraps, where he overwhelmed innocent victims. Now, rather than a gangster or enforcer, Scott had been described in court as an almost genius of a football player. Now, in the first brutal scrap that was one-sided, a then 30-year-old Scott was said to have landed a hook on Jaroslaw Gaska, breaking the jawbone that the jaw was just left unhinged. Now, it was said that Scott acted like this just because Jaroslaw had touched Scott's partner's hair after admiring it and complimenting it. Now, just 2 months later, 60 days, Dublin Circuit Criminal Court heard that the Irish madman had then landed an uppercut on a Neville Picton in what was classed as an unwarranted and unprovoked incident at a nightclub. Now, Scott Capper, who's from Capper Green in Finglas, had pled guilty to 2 charges when arrested. The 2 incidents took place, first being at the Morgan Hotel on Fleet Street, Dublin, on the 8th of August 2016. The second incident took place at the Sin nightclub, Temple Bar, October 2nd, 2016. Now, Scott was no stranger to using his hands and feet, as the gangster had already been arrested multiple times, over 2 dozen, for gang brawls on Cardiff Bridge Road back in 2017, where members of the Gucci gang had scrapped with rivals belonging to David SOS Mulvey. Now, for his crimes, Scott Capper was jailed for 3 years and 6 months. Now, in the aftermath of his jail sentence, it was said that Scott Capper had been taxed by Mr. Flashy himself after they had fallen out. Now, Mr. Flashy says that Scott owed him €8,000, and if he didn't pay, that would mean his life would be uncertain. But we'll get into that later. Stay safe.